I I left the Marine Corps in July of 2002. The FERT and I were engaged for the first 6 months of the year. I got back from a deployment from Okinawa and proposed. I waited till I was out of the military, and then we got married so we could start our life together. I didn't want to be traveling around the world and all kinds of military stuff if I was married. I wanted to wait till I was out. So once we got back from deployment, it was 2002. I proposed. She said yes. The date was set. And in those last 3 to 6 months in the military, you're on kind of easy mode, right? So people, you're getting out, you're not re-enlisting, you're not spending more time. So it's kind of easy mode. So you have a lot of free time. Now, as I told you, I was spending a lot of time on the computer. And this was in the days of the AOL Instant Messenger, which some of you are familiar with, which was really new technology. And in those days, everybody was so excited that they had access to all the people in some ways. You wanted to meet people. It wasn't the scare like it is now where, stranger danger. It's still there, but not like it is now. So on AOL Instant Messenger, you could select hobbies or topics that you liked, and sometimes you could just choose random, and it would connect you to somebody else on Instant Messenger that you had no affiliation with that had the same topics, and you might make a friend. So I guess the parallel to that nowadays is like Chat Roulette or Omegle or whatever those kinds of apps are, I think. But that's how it was. And you might make some friends. So one day I'm on AOL Instant Messenger, and I had chosen for my topics like music, songwriting, something else. This message pops up from Nikki Juice. I know. Nikki Juice, like 193 or something. Hi. Now, scams and stuff weren't really as big of a thing, so it wasn't an issue to like respond. You weren't worried about your identity being stolen all the time. Hi. Do you like music? Yes, I do. Oh, well, I just hit the random button and you came up. Where are you? North Carolina? Because, ASL, age, sex, location, not a big deal. So we start having this conversation. We have a pretty good conversation about music, about writing songs. I say, yeah, I've written some songs. I play guitar. I've been playing since I was 9. I've written a whole bunch of songs. She's like, oh, I've written some songs too. I'm a singer. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. So we have some conversations. We talk for a couple days about songs and music and what it means to us. And I share some of my lyrics. And, she does a pretty good job of making me talk about myself, which I love to do, apparently. So it was a good few days. And then after, some rapport has been made, she says, can I see your picture? I'm like, okay, how the hell do I do that? So I had to figure out how to put a photo onto AOL. Like you literally do a file transfer. That's how different these times were. I do a file transfer of a photo. Of course, it's this badass military photo that I have. Makes me look like a bad mofo, big tough guy. And, oh, you're pretty cute and pretty buff. Oh, thank you. Do you want to send a picture too? Please? She sends back this picture. Beautiful, beautiful blonde woman. Like fake beautiful. So, of course, what's the first thing I think? bullshit. I pull up the bullshit flag and I salute it. There's no friggin' way that this person just randomly hit me up on AOL Instant Messenger and it's not somebody in a basement somewhere that needs a kidney. There's no way. But I'm like, oh, there's a 1% chance. You never know. I'm like, wow, you are stunning. And then a little bit of flirting takes place. Okay, a little bit. Just, complimentary. Oh, you're buff. Oh, well, you're very pretty too. You're very stunning. Oh, your hair is gorgeous. Do you soak that in beer? I've heard that's a thing. I don't know. But it's conversation. You're being friendly, you're a little flirty, whatever. Conversations continue over a couple days. And then somehow through the conversation, she says, I think I'm starting to kind of get some feelings for you. Now, it's probably been a couple weeks now, okay? I'm going to say this is maybe springtime of 2002. Keep in mind, I have a few months left until I'm out of the Marine Corps. I'm getting married, and then life can begin for me, is how I see it. But now this superstar, if you will, this beautiful blonde woman hits me up, starts kind of digging my chili. I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So we keep chatting. A couple weeks go by. Then she says, I've written some songs too. Do you want to hear one? And of course, I'm thinking like, yeah, I'd love to hear you sing. Sure. And I shared my picture with you. I shared some lyrics with you. You can do the same. So and I'm expecting a file transfer to come back. It's a hyperlink. Some of you are like, what the hell is that? It's like a spaceship? No, it's a URL. It's a link. It goes to a video. Now, this is way before YouTube. Okay. It goes to an actual website that has videos. And this video was this video you see right here. So I'm watching it and I'm like, this doesn't, I'm thinking like, did she send me the wrong link? This doesn't make any sense. But I watch it and I go, am I supposed to be seeing this? Is this right? She's like, yeah, you got Superstar, right? I said, yeah. I said, are you in this video? And she gives me the LOL, ha ha ha, you're adorable, whatever. She's like, I'm Nicole Saft. And I'm like, I don't know what that means. She's like, I'm Roller Girl. And I'm like, You're her in the video. She's like, yes, that's me. I didn't want to tell you right away because I was, blah, blah, all the usual stuff you expect to hear. So I'm like, I'm not buying this one friggin' bit. But also, I don't want to be rude in the chance that it's not her. Okay? Because also, let's discuss this. I'm 21 years old, about to get out of the military. And this potentially beautiful woman who seems to be relatively successful in Germany is kind of digging my chili. Huh. Okay. Let's see what happens. So the conversations continue. I'm still not buying it, but I'm playing along. So she sends me another video. It's one of the music videos. So then I get the bright idea. Okay, if this is really Nikki Juice, which is her stage name, and Nicole Saft is her real name, she's going to know some information, okay? If it's somebody that's pretending to be her, they're not going to know what the hell's going on. So while I'm chatting with her, I'm also pulling up information about Roller Girl, Nicole Saft. Her producer's name, her, like, all kinds of information, really obscure stuff that you kind of have to really dig for. It's not like there was a Wikipedia back then. You had to really, really dig to find information on people. So I dug. And then everything I threw at her, she nailed. I was like, oh, this mix is pretty good. Like, did you produce this? She's like, no, that was Alex. I'm like, who's Alex? She's like, well, Alex is my producer, Alex Christensen. And I was like, oh. Now, in my brain, I go, oh, shit, that's right. I'm like, okay, well, okay, maybe I need to dig a little further. Every question that I threw at her, she had an answer for immediately, and she was always right. Now, it's not enough for me to be like, oh, yep, that's you. Got it. So, as the conversations continue, keep in mind, this is when she first tells me, I'm Nicole Saft, I'm Roller Girl. Yes, 99% of me goes, BS. But that 1% of me goes, what if this is real? Nobody's going to believe this. So I screenshot and save every single conversation that we have. Every single one. Every picture she sends me, I save it. Everything. And I keep it in a folder on my desktop. As the weeks go on, feelings get stronger. Okay? Now, not necessarily on my side, but her side. Because let's be honest, I'm a charming mother. You know what I mean? Like, I can be really, really charming. And I was. Just in case, right? I don't know. I share some music with her. I get pretty vulnerable. You know, it's a thing, and she's kind of digging it. She tells me, how it started. Through the conversations we had, it ventured out of music and into like more personal stuff. So, you know, it's like we talked about our childhoods. We talked about all kinds of stuff. She talked about how her and Alex, her producer, used to be together, and then they got in this big blowout over something, and then they split up, but they're still professional, so it gets really strange at times. And then it was really, really specific and yada, yada, yada. More pictures come. More pictures that I can't find on any website come through. Like personal pictures. Now, I don't mean saucy pictures. No, I'm just talking about Roller Girl in like sweatpants, right? You know, like pajamas. Things like that. Not like at the gala. Now, I got some of those photos too, which blew my mind. She's gorgeous. But more personal stuff. And then that's when I started to call her. I was like, okay, here's what's going to make this for me. And she started saying like, oh, I think I'm starting to fall for you. Like, you know, maybe we should meet, blah, blah, blah. I do come to New York sometimes. Is there a way that you could get to New York? So before I make any leaps into that realm of responsibility to meet a potential person from Germany or anywhere and potentially lose one of my kidneys involuntarily, I need a way to prove, like, this is you. I said, okay, I'm going to be honest with you. I've had fun talking to you. I don't know if I'm as invested to meet you when, let's be honest, the chances of you being Nicole Saft are pretty slim. She sends me a picture, her in pajamas or sweatpants, whatever. And it says on a piece of paper, I love Ross, a little red heart. I heart Ross. And I'm like, okay. And it took a few minutes. Okay. Now this is before Photoshop. This is before Photoshop is affordable to everybody. Okay. So I'm like, okay. Interesting. I said, that's pretty good. I said, that's hard to refute. Can you do it again with a different shirt and then say something different on the paper? Put my name on the paper, it's something different. Hold up 2 fingers. I was really specific. A few minutes go by, and I mean literally a few minutes. She does it. And that's the point where I'm like, whew. Either this person is a super fan that knows how to use photo editing tools that don't really exist for the everyday consumer in 2002 that I'm aware of. It's becoming harder and harder not to believe. Okay? The final straw for me was, as I start to get more and more invested in the idea that she's who she says she is, I have a friend that's in one of the nearby platoons that is a legit computer hacker. All the stuff that I wanted to learn how to do with all these books and stuff, he knew how to do that stuff. So I said, hey man, I need some help here, and I'll pay you. I'll pay you whatever it takes, like that I can afford. I need you to find out if this person is who they say they are. So I give him the story, I give him the breakdown. And he goes, okay, so how can we do this? So essentially, he works this magic where he starts going through like trace route, and he's checking pings and all this kind of crap. I don't know what the hell. The screen is numbers, and he's doing this trace route. Okay, here's the IP address. Okay, this is the ISP's address. That's localized to the, and he starts going through some crazy stuff, which I don't know half of what's going on. But he does it. And he was like, okay, this is the best I can tell you without breaking laws. The person you're talking to is coming out of, and I want to say it was Hamburg, Germany. Okay. Now I knew, and forgive me if Hamburg is not correct, I thought it was Hamburg. Delicious. Hamburg, whatever the city was where Nicole Saft was supposedly at. It's where she did her recording. It's where she lived. Like, could it still be somebody else? Absolutely. But after this piece of evidence, I was hook, line, and sinker for, this has got to be her. It has to be. The photos, it started with the information. She knows a lot of things that I really had to dig for. Okay, check, fine. Then the photos, personal photos. Then personal photos to me with my name written on a piece of paper. Okay. And then the IP address or that type of stuff. It was enough for me to go, huh. Okay. So I paid him his money, and I just leaned into, this is Nicole Saft. I'm talking to Roller Girl. Okay. All right. Let's see how this goes. So I continue to chat with her. We continue to have conversations. We're sharing personal details, talking about difficulties, talking about hard stuff, crying together, laughing together. And it's all typing. None of it's voice stuff. There's no video stuff back there. No idea back then. And then she just one day kind of says, look, I'm going to make plans to come to New York. I like going to New York City. If I get there, can I meet you? And through that conversation, essentially she was saying, look, I know you're getting out of the military. Alex and I are done. Okay? And she knew about the FERT. Like I told her, like, look, I'm engaged. I'm getting out in a couple months. And then I'm starting my life. Like we were pretty open about everything. I wasn't hiding anything, but she was aware. And she comes out and she goes, look, I want to be with you. If you want to get into music when you leave the military, I'll pay for it. I'll put you in my studio. We can lay down tracks. We can lay down an album. You can stay with like the whole thing. And I'm like, huh. Say more things like that. Because one of the things at the, in the military is when you get out, you worry, like, what am I going to do? I don't have any real skills. What the hell am I going to, well, as an infantry person, as a machine gunner, as an assaultman, what am I going to do in the real world? So this opportunity comes and I go, that's interesting. I'm like, so you mean to tell me you come to New York City, we meet, you know, at a restaurant, we have dinner and drinks. I see that you're you. You want to spark something up. You want to see what that Roscoe chili brand is like? Yes. We can do this. Whew. Interesting. Interesting. Keep in mind, the whole time this is happening, I'm saving every damn thing. Because again, nobody's going to believe this. But like I have Jimmy here, I have Jean, I have all these guys, my roommates and platoon friends that are platoon mates that are watching this all play out. And they're with me like, bro, there's no way. And then as we get the evidence, the information, okay, bro, he's talking to Roller Girl. Who's Roller Girl? She's the Britney Spears of Germany, apparently. That's kind of how we, talked about her. Anyway. So I carry this friendship, this relationship with Roller Girl, all the way to the point of I'm getting out of the military. Like in a couple weeks. I'm about to get married. So I tell her, like, look, I've really enjoyed talking to you these last few months. Like, I've had a really great time. I want to keep in touch with you. You're great to talk to. You're fun. You're talented. I love your music. Whatever. God, I hope she never sees this. I'm going to be like such an asshole. But, like, I'm getting out of the military and I'm getting married. That's my life. I can't just uproot my whole life with the woman that I love and just go off on some romantic comedy adventure. I can't do that. It's really sweet and I appreciate it. I appreciate the offer. I can't do that. So I tell her it's a no. It's a no from me. But let's keep in touch. She got pissed. She got pissed. Didn't talk to me, right? Days. And I'm like, well, it's not the end of the world. I mean, but then there's also like, let's be honest, like I'm 21 years old. I've got my whole life ahead of me. If this is for real, what if me and the FERT don't work out and I missed my chance to be with the Britney Spears of Germany? I gotta keep this relationship somewhat connected, just in case. So I was like, let's just keep in touch. Like, I know you're upset, but let's just take it. It'll be okay. It'll be fine. Eventually and I say eventually, it was a couple weeks. Okay, fine. Yep. I was talking to Alex the other day and about the whole thing, and he said this, and I'm like, oh, you're talking to Alex again. Then I'm all defensive. Oh, Alex is in the picture. Oh, Alex, here we go with Alex again. And suddenly I'm the jealous boyfriend, but I let it go. I'm officially out of the military. We're talking a couple weeks has passed since that last little spurt, if you will. I'm married. Honeymoon. Back in, now we've moved in together. We are now officially husband and wife at 21 years old. Time to start our lives. We're at dinner one day at our favorite restaurant. And we're sitting there and I don't know if we were arguing or what was going on, me and the FERT, okay? And in the heat of the moment, I said something to the effect of, you don't know what I gave up. Oh, bro, did you seriously just say that? I did. And I wasn't trying to be mean. I really wasn't. What I was trying to get her to understand, and there's no justification. Trust me, I know. There is no excuse for that. But it just came out. I know. And when she calmed down, I was like, what I'm trying to tell you is you don't have to worry about me like over here with this and over, you know what I mean? Like if I want to go to the club with the guys, like that should be fine. Like I've had opportunities and it's okay, is essentially where I was going. I just didn't take the right route to get there. And I said, I can prove it to you. She's like, you can prove it to me? I can prove it to you because you don't know what I gave. You know what I mean? Like that's kind of what I was saying. So we go home. And as Big Brain says, I pull out the receipts. I pull out a CD that on it has Sharpie that says Roller Girl. Now I say CD, it's not her music. Shame on you. I'm not going to save Roller Girl's music on a CD mix. This was a data CD. All of the files that I had from all of the conversations, all of the photos were on this CD. Everything. All the way to the conversation where she was like, uproot your life. I will take you in. I will put you in the studio. I will make your dreams come true. I am the great Britney Spears of Germany. And I said, thank you, but no. That's all I was trying to say. So I pull out this CD and I say, look, I'm going to prove it to you. Put it in. You've got mail. Pull up the CD. All the files. She starts clicking through. She's reading some of the conversations. And I'm standing back there proud as a peacock. Wait till she sees. Wait till she sees what a good guy I am. What the hell was I thinking? So she starts going through. She starts reading some of the conversations. She sees the pictures. She sees the pictures that are, you know, her in her sweatpants and her sweatshirt, oversized, still looking gorgeous, that say, I heart Ross. I heart Ross #2. Peace sign. Oh, bro. So she goes through this for a while. Doesn't say a word. Just reads and reads and reads. Sees all the pictures. And I say, see? I told you. This is a pretty crazy opportunity here. And I said no. I said no because I love you. I want to live our life together. And even the Britney Spears of Germany couldn't change that for me. I thought it was the sweetest thing ever. And she was like, you mean to tell me you've been having these chats with this chick? I don't care who she is. I don't care what shitty music she's got. Like, this is what? And I was like, oh, I didn't really see it that way. And then I understood all of the different ways that I went wrong. But after the argument, when she was done, we had the argument, I took the CD and I smashed it into a million pieces. I didn't have any copies, like it's whatever. I smashed it. I threw it all away, and I was like, look, like, sorry, you know, I understand, you're right. It's not what I was thinking, but now I understand. And it was a bit of a shit show. And after the smoke and dust kind of settled from that, she eventually told me, she's like, yeah, that was a shit show. You shouldn't have done that. I'm glad you told me, and I see what you're saying. I see where you were coming from because, yeah, and that's hard to refute that this is bogus because the pictures, you know, Tony doing all the hacking and stuff, like, yeah, maybe it's her, but doesn't feel great. And I was like, yeah, I know. Damn. And it's still, like, it kind of hurts me to tell this story, right? It is a crazy story. And I realize now how long it is. And I do apologize for that. But I feel like I want you to feel how I felt going through it. The little landmarks along the way. You're not quite sure, like, what's up, what's down? Is this real? Is this not real? And then to go through what seemed like a good decision, and then no, it wasn't. And it's things like that. In all honesty, after being married for 22 years, it's things like that that I look back on and I go, man, like that is one of the things that we made it through. You know, we made it through some stuff 22 years. We've been through some stuff. That was one of those things because that happened within maybe the first couple months of us being married. And at 21 years old, we got married and then we moved in together. Neither one of us has any idea who they are. I don't know who I am. She doesn't know who she is. And now we have to figure that out and still try to make this work. Yeah. It wasn't great. My intentions, I'd like to say, were good, but no, it was an absolute shit show. I never heard from her again after that. I never sought her out on AOL Instant Messenger. I didn't email her. Yeah, it was a bit of a shit show. It was. But if it's true, it's crazy. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, I'm really putting myself out on a pedestal, not a pedestal. I'm putting myself out on the table here for you, just to slash about me. Because if the story's true, that's nuts. It's not only nuts that it could be this one, right? Crazy, like what are the chances? But to also go through all that and as a 21-year-old wanting to be a famous musician, go, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. Yeah. Mm-mm. That is the story of how I could have been Rollerboy.